The deadline in this sector for voluntary presentation at the experimental center is 6 o'clock.
You're supposed to be an artist. Use your imagination.
Oh, thanks a lot. I'm all out.
What's happening, everybody? Shelton J. Think About It Radio. Another Monday. Motivation Monday, if you will. And you know I have a great interview for you guys tonight. I have Mr. Mrs. Lynne Bell, the owner of MKK Bell Consulting. And she's going to spend a few minutes with Think About It Radio to explain what she do, why she do, and when she do what she do. Thank you very much, Miss Lynne. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
No complaints. I got so crunk I said Mr. instead of Mrs. I was just raring to go. Forgive me for that oversight.
That's okay.
It is all good. It is all good. Thank you again for being on the show. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your willingness to share your message and what you do for a living to the people. And I just really appreciate that. I can't thank you enough for your time.
Oh, no problem. I am very excited about being a part of the show tonight, and I'm really ready to pour into the audience.
Solid. Let's pour into them then, like we pouring some hot grease in a can. Let's pour into them. Let's make sure we don't burn anybody. Now, let the people know real quick the name of your company and also give them your contact information before we get into the meat and potatoes of this whole thing.
Okay, great. The name of my company is MKK Bell Consulting, and we are a consulting firm that helps job seekers get from point A to point B in their career. So that's anything from resume writing, interview skills, negotiating your salary offer. We also help existing employees who are looking to transition into promotional opportunities on their current jobs as well. So we help job seekers get from point A to point B through coaching.
I like that. I love that. Now, how can the people get a hold of you if they want to check out your website and all that good stuff as well?
Great, awesome. So we are on the web at www.mkkbellconsulting.com. We also have a Facebook page. It's labeled MKK Bell Consulting, and we also are on Instagram. Our name on Instagram is MKK Bell Consulting. You can also do a Google search and find us. The information is there, how to get in contact with us. If you reach out to us, we normally get back with you within a few hours, up into 24 hours, but usually within the first few hours or so.
Right on. If you guys need to get a hold of her, you guys have any needs that she can take care of, even any questions, make sure you take a look at that website and give her an opportunity to help you out, or at least answer your question and point you in the right direction. Can you dig it?
Absolutely.
Now, with helping people getting jobs and finding employment and helping with those resumes and helping them get over the hump, if you will, that has to be a real rewarding feeling.
It is. It's very rewarding because what I teach, I had to teach myself. And I think the greatest teachers are those who have gone through the process themselves. So I know how job seekers feel. I know how it feels when you're living from paycheck to paycheck and you have all this potential and zeal inside of you, but you don't know how to position yourself properly to be in those different types of positions. So I have that level of empathy with the folks that I work with. I get them motivated, encouraged, and we then go into action in regards to meeting their career goals.
Yeah, I like that. I love that. Now, you mentioned motivation and encouragement, and that's all what Sheldon J and Think About Radio is about, right? So
right.
When you say that motivation and encouragement, do you find that as a main ingredient even in searching for a job and employment to stay motivated and encouraged?
Yes, you have to keep yourself motivated because looking for a job can be a very daunting process. You have thousands of people looking and competing for that same position. So you have to keep yourself, one, organized. Two, you have to keep yourself motivated because you may submit your resume and no one gives you a call back. Or you may go on 2 to 3 interviews and you're not hearing back. But the problem with that is a lot of folks, they'll see that there's an issue and there's a disconnect, and they won't do anything about it. And you look 2 to 3 years down the road, and they're still working on that same job that they hate because they haven't been able to spur themselves forward. And that's where we come in. We help them identify those gaps. If it's their interviewing skills, if it's their resume, we help them present themselves and make themselves a little bit more marketable in the workplace.
That's what I'm talking about. Now, success stories or like testimonials, if you will. Can you give us a couple, if you don't mind, without getting into people's personal information too much? But because people love a testimony, right? And they love to hear results. Right. So we talking about result-driven business that you're in. So I would love for you to just explain some some situations that may resonate to some of the listeners as well.
Sure. So I had a young lady who was very interested in working in a certain arena, didn't know how to enter into that arena. And I began working with her. I began coaching her, helping her with her resume, really talking to her about office politics and all that, because my career prior to me owning my own business, I worked in career services, and I've been an HR manager before as well. So I have a full spectrum of what hiring leaders look for and what you need to do to position yourself for promotion. And so I talked with her, got her coached. We put together an action plan. And what we started to do is take small chunks of that action plan and execute it month by month. And then finally she was able to be promoted into the position that she desired. Now, being promoted into the position that she desired, which was a very high-level role, came with a lot of adversity, it came with a lot of challenges, and it came with office politics. But because we had coached and gone through that process, she understood fully what she was walking into and was very well prepared. And she's still today successful in her role.
See, I think I say this all the time, play chess when everybody else is playing checkers, right?
Right. Right.
Check the emotions and kind of deal with it like everybody else does. This is business. Right. And so I like that approach that you say, especially with the action plan, something that I cannot stress enough, action plan, action plan, action plan. And I'm sure you can attest to this as well. Everyone's action plan is going to be different. Exactly.
Your action plan is going to be unique to your situation. I also coach people who are looking to go into the lane of entrepreneurship, and they hate their current job. And I always tell people, if you know that that's something you're looking to do, put together an action plan, an exit strategy plan, and then let your 9-to-5 finance your dreams until you can do better. If you can't financially afford to make that jump right now, put together a plan of action and know that the end is coming and plan for that, so that way when you transition, it's a little bit easier of a transition.
You're definitely right, because I think a lot of times, especially, being in a corporate environment and stuff like that, sometimes it can be a little taxing and daunting, and you may lean upon your emotions to make a decision, which, as you just clearly state, is not the best route to take, especially if you're not financially fit. Because I can say right now, I hate y'all, I'm quitting. You look up and 2-3 days later, the bills get coming in.
Right.
There's no plan.
The bills don't stop.
If you have no plan on being outside.
Right. Because Reliant and your mortgage and your car note folks, they're not going to care that, you had to spur. You have to think in a non-emotional state and be very strategic. Like you said, I heard on one of your broadcasts, when you're playing chess, you have to be able to say, okay, I understand and fundamentally know that this is not the place for me. It may be that you're not operating in your purpose and you're switching careers, or it could be the organization itself, because you can love what you do, but it could be the folks in your organization that are not where they need to be. So you need to do an analysis of that, and then you need to start planning, okay, I'm going to start looking for jobs, because even as an active job seeker, it can take you between 3 to 6 months to land the position that you're looking for, not just another job, but if you're looking for a career where you have done your research, you know how much you're worth, meaning you're not going to go in there and go in an interview and let them undersell or undervalue you in terms of your salary. You're going to know what your worth is and be able to negotiate that and be satisfied in your next career.
I like that. I like that aspect. Now, could you elaborate on that a little bit? Because I think a lot of people fail in that area. How do you know your worth, though? I mean, how do you know what to go into a company and say, because again, I'm looking for a job. I don't like where I'm at right now. So if they tell me $200 more than what I'm making right now, I'm out of there, right?
Right.
So,
well, I'll tell you, recruiters look for that too, because as I mentioned, I was an HR manager prior, and we used to always look. I used to teach my team to look for motivators, meaning what is motivating that person to leave their current job. Sometimes it is just the environment, so you can offer them $10 more. On their paycheck, and they're willing to jump because they just want to leave. So as a job seeker, what I would say is go on different websites like Glassdoor, LinkedIn, and Indeed, and see what the industry is paying for your particular position. And that way, when you walk into that interview, you know already that I'm not going to accept a position that's less than $50,000 or $60,000. You also need, while you're in the interview process, you need to look at that company's benefits brochure, because the benefits is going to play into your total compensation package. So if you are getting paid $60,000, but your health care premiums and all of that is really, really high, you have to pay for parking, you got to pay for all this stuff, then what you're really bringing home is not what you really think. So you need to look at all of that holistically before you just say, yes, I'm going to jump and take this job. And you need to be able to negotiate. If you know that you want to make $60,000 and they offer you $40,000, and websites like Glassdoor, they are really good research tools, because you can actually go and see what people are making and earning at that particular company and doing that same role. So if you have someone that's earning $40,000 or $50,000 for a position, and they offer you $30,000, and you know that you have the years of experience and you know you have the education, that's when you need to be able to know how to negotiate your offer.
Mm-hmm. Right on. That's some solid information. Listeners, I hope you guys are taking notes and writing some of this stuff down, because this is some solid information. And if you cannot write it down, just be sure to go to the website, Instagram, Facebook. They're not hard to find. They are not hard to find. Just go check out the information, because this is valuable stuff that I think that we all need. And I like the way that you're explaining it. It's not in everybody is wrong, condescending kind of matter. It's just matter of fact. These are facts, and these are the facts that we need to know. And I just appreciate your level, of distributing that information, because everybody can distribute the information well to where it's received in a way that, well, okay, that does make sense. So I appreciate your ability to do that. Disseminate the information. Yeah. Now, what are some of the common mistakes that you see on resumes that people could get better at?
The organization of the resume itself. So the order in which the resume, the order in which the resume is presented. So you need to, of course, have your most recent employer listed, and it needs to speak to the position that you are applying to. So you need to look at your past work history and think of the skills that you have that are transferable skills for the position that you're looking to go into. So that's very important. Spelling and grammatical errors on resumes. So if you tell me that you're a very detailed person and every other word is misspelled, then I'm going to question that. Actually, in fact, I'll be honest with you, as a recruiting manager in my past life, I've actually turned down candidates because of that. They've represented themselves well. They got past the resume. They got past the interview. But then they sent me a thank you letter. Ooh. And the thank you letter was in kind of short text, like how people text people in short text language, and it was very broken and choppy, and I decided not to move forward because in my mind as a hiring authority, I'm thinking I'm going to have to put this person in front of VPs and executives, and they're going to have to send correspondence, and I want to make sure that they're representing the company as they should, and so from that, I decided not to move on. But your resume is essentially important because if your resume is not up to date, if it's not correct, Your resume is a marketing document. So before the employer sees you, knows you, anything to that extent, that is your commercial. That is saying, here's Michelin, here's what she has to offer, here's her years of experience. If it does not read well, you're in a pool with thousands of other applicants. I'm going to go for the folks that have represented themselves well. And so in that manner, you won't get called for an interview. And I hear people say from time to time, I've applied for 1,000 jobs and I feel like I'm going into a black